All right, welcome back to another hand review here. I got a new tool this time. This one's actually a lot better than the other one I was using. I would actually recommend it. Not sponsored, obviously, since I have 6 subscribers right now, but it's called PokerScope.app. They also have a mobile app, and you can basically just type in like notes on a hand, and it'll just automatically convert it into a replayer. Very nice. It's free to my knowledge. Maybe they'll make it paid in the future. But yeah, just very sleek looking too. It's got the 4-color deck. It's very nice looking. And yeah, we've got a session here that I played last night on the 18th of October. And basically, it was a 5-cent, 10-cent game to start. But then as the night went on, we were kind of allowing the bind to go up and up. And to start off, I was basically just firing, trying to get a big stack in any way that I possibly could. Because I was card dead for, maybe 1 or 2 hours of this session, especially near the end. But to start with, I kind of had been just maybe making a few bad plays. And it's not even that they were necessarily that bad, but I just wanted to really match the stack of the biggest stack because that player had been, let's just say, been a very big action player. So this is one of the earlier hands in the session, but I'm already in for like 3 bullets by this point. But basically under the gun plus 2 jams and the low jack rejams. And low jack, I mean, this should just be a fold, right? But then small blind, who had just been going all in with junk up until this point, they call. And now I'm just thinking, okay, well, even if I'm behind the low jack, like I could just be getting maybe a little over 33% equity here because we don't really care that much about under the gun since they're just going to be winning a $4 side pot if I call and they win. That said, I think ace 9 offsuit's a little too loose. Maybe you can just call with ace jack and better. Maybe like pocket 9s and better or something, but yeah, I don't think it's a call. But I do end up calling. And yeah, low jack ends up showing pocket kings. Small blind had ace 8. So we're actually dominating that hand, but it doesn't matter when low jack covers small blind here, and a little unfortunate. We even picked up a spade draw right here on the end, but we did not hit it. So yeah, kings holds there. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely not recommend calling in this configuration. It's a very weird configuration since it goes like 10x open and then 8x jam, but think I just made a bit of a loose call here and it didn't pay off. This next hand, I'm on the low jack, and we have an under the gun open. I 3-bet to 90, and I get called by the hijack, and the cutoff, and the button. And under the gun folds. We flop pretty good, top set, but we're also 4 ways, so you can maybe lead out here. Because in this hand, Button's a very deep stack player who's been getting very lucky and been making very light calls. Cut off jams for like 450 here. So a bit of an overbet here. And then Button, as I was saying, calls. They've been calling very light. And now I have 2 options here, which is call or jam. I decide to call in case hijack wants to come along. And hijack does end up coming along. And then turns to 7. We've got about half pot behind. And I mean, if this was like a 2, then maybe jam is the best play. But when it's a 7 and you basically lose to nothing, I think either a small bet or a check is maybe preferable. I jam here and hijack folds. Hijack claims they had ace king suited in this hand. I don't know why they called the flop in that case and also why they didn't 4-bet free, but maybe just the fact that that hand's drawing dead, even if it has hearts, is maybe a reason to check there. But Button ends up calling, and then I show, and these 2 players muck. So, scooping a pretty big pot there. This next hand comes a bit later. Got ace 3 offsuit on the big blind, under the gun, low jack, hijack, and let's see, small blind limp. And I decided just to check. And then hijack right here is that deep stack player I was talking about, who's been calling very light. And small blind leads here for 50 cents. I decided to flat. And under the gun right here, he had said right before the hand started that he was going to be jamming very light on this next hand because he just wanted to go home. So unless he had complete garbage, then he was just going to be jamming. And that's exactly what he does on this flop. So jams about 550. And hijack calls. And then small blind does fold here, which is a little unfortunate because they bet full pot on the flop here. But, you know, I tank for a while here, and I figure maybe I can just call and then hope to get the money in on the later streets. The rainbow board, so I'm not worried about flushes hitting. So I call, turn to 10, and very, very nice card, very safe. I go 750. Not really counting how much I have left behind, but I know that it's going to be a bit more than 750. I mean, you can maybe go smaller here, but you also want to charge some hands, such as 6x and 3x and ace-x that could all chop or be you by the river. And since it's a limp pot, I do expect hijack to have some 3x and some 6x. I'm pretty sure hijack had near 100% VPIP the whole night, too. I go 750. Hijack calls. River's a 7. So, you know, 3-6 was already there. So I'm not really worried about any straights. It's just 6-8 that could have gotten there. And I mean, if the guy's got 6-8, then just take my money, right? But I only have 1/3 pot behind, so it's an easy jam. And then hijack calls, shows 10-3 offsuit. So turn to pair, flopped an open ender. Hijack actually shows and he says, I have a straight and a pair. And he's like, oh, wait, I don't have a straight. Like, I was very confused when he said straight. Like, if this was a 6, then yeah, we would have chopped it up. But it was not. So I don't know if hijack misread their hand, but either way, they did technically improve on the turn. So that's maybe why they called the turn, and also the fact that they had a straight draw. It was just a weird pot, but you know, I played it slow, worked out here. But considering how loose hijack was playing, I could have maybe just re-raised on the flop and then jammed the turn. But I don't know. I'm not unhappy with how I played it. I did get a full double after all. So this next hand, I've got Queen 3 under the gun. I think this was 7-handed or something, maybe 6. And I decided to open. I mean, I think I was a little tilted here, a little card dead. But this is still not an open, just way too loose, so just fold pre. Folds to the button in the small blind to call, and we flop a flush draw. And I lead out for 3/4 here. Button folds, small blind calls. Turns a 4. Seems kind of like a irrelevant card. So small blind checks. I go maybe 60% pot here. Small blind calls. River's an 8. So there are like a lot of hands that maybe are gonna snap call here, but I don't know. Small blind checks to me, and my gut's telling me just to give up and check back. But I think, oh, I have to go for it. Small blind only has like 440 behind, so I can jam here and really credibly rep some value. So I jam and I get snapped off by ace-4. So very unfortunate that we ran into such a strong hand while trying to run a bluff. And also that small blind checked it down in order to induce us. So I think fair play from the small blind. I probably should just gone with my gut on the river here. And maybe like slow down with flush draws whenever the board pairs. But anyways, we didn't end up profiting this session. We were in for $50. But the blinds ended up getting raised by the end of the night. So by the end, it was just 4-handed, and we started playing PLO. And then it became 3-handed when we upped the blinds to 25, 50 cent. And one of the players got stacked, so game broke after that. And yeah, I just was pretty card dead in PLO, so I didn't win any big hands there. But other than these two hands, I think I played fine. It was just a very action heavy game. And I did catch, maybe two punts right here, but nothing else really happened that whole night, so kind of just ended up a little bit down because of that.